people tell their own stories, and that will ultimately move others in the audience.
Just to echo what Joel said and to add to that, I think it was really important for us to make this film because most Americans probably still believe that people who were imprisoned at Guantanamo, including the 200-some people who remain there today, are terrorists. When in reality, you know, there was a news report last week that less than 10% of the people who were imprisoned there had anything to do with, or were considered dangerous, I believe is the terminology. And we're not really going to go into what dangerous means, but you know, it was really important for us to sort of give a voice to the people, countless number of people who have been imprisoned on the war on terror, and to make those stories and those voices accessible to an American audience in a way that I don't think they had been. There are a number of great films, and you should see those as well.
With Sheila Westenberg's story, who's featured in Denied, we first found Sheila when we were doing a project on the uninsured at large in America. And we published her story in the New York Times Magazine. And when we did that, people were so shocked that this was going on in America. And they saw themselves in her story. And literally, when she says this line in the film, where she says, by 8 o'clock the next morning, when the story came out, the phone rang. She literally, the phone started ringing and the checks started coming from people she had never met, who didn't even want their names known more often than not, but they were so horrified you know, at her suffering, and here in America of all places, that the family was literally received $50,000 in unsolicited donations, which helped them save their home and gave them some stability while they tried to cope with illness. I think that outpouring was so powerful that that's what compelled me to then get on film her story. Because if that could happen through print, as we all know, print is the small-time medium, film is a big-time medium, and it reaches a lot more people. And it gave me the conviction that these stories have to be told, and we have to personalize them, we have to dramatize them, because all the stats were out there about the uninsured, about, you know, at that point when I first met her, 41 million uninsured, then it rose to 47 million. The stats were there, the stories were available, but until you personalize them, then people don't get enraged, and they don't get active, and they don't really feel it's their job to make a difference. So I think we can't tell the same stories enough, in a sense, thematically. If there are 5 other films on the uninsured, all the power to all of us, because we need to keep telling them until the problems are sorted out.
Yeah, I agree. There's numerous films on all these topics, and the funny thing about my film was it was a school project, and I literally had 3 weeks to shoot, edit, and turn it in. So I had very, very little time to do research. But in the past, I had seen a ton of narrative films on day laborers and the topic, so I chose to add a lot of statistical information in the film, and that was my take on it.
I'm always acutely aware that there are many, many media literacy programs going on out there which do fabulous things, like the Media Education Foundation in Massachusetts, here in New York City, the LAMP NYC, and Real Girls in Seattle, which is really